Okay, so we're starting our day. Rocky's been investigating the raccoon situation. He has some concerns, as do I. I've never seen them here in the daytime before. That's a little bit worrisome. They're getting bolder, Rocky. They really want to get into that garbage thing. I know that. That's kind of a big thing with them. Snack there. Nice drink of water, please. All right. Anyway, they knocked my blinds down, the buggers. Yeah, raccoons, they're uncivilized. Very uncivilized. They are. All right. Anyway, I see Rocky's being very cautious and he's checking everything out, which is good. I like that. Not taking any chances. Yeah. Anyway, um, that's how it goes. Now, there's Kenny Ryan peeking out from behind the curtain. Yeah. All right. Well, I just got word. I can't respond to the message I got because Facebook has me blocked because they're claiming that I shared child pornography in 2020, which I didn't. The post that they're claiming is child pornography is nothing even like child pornography or any kind of pornography, but that's what they're saying. But I did receive a message about my camping situation. The neighbors are not happy. They're aware now and they're not happy, and they threatened to go to the township if I camp there. And so that's out. It probably would have happened anyway, that it would have been out because all it would take is for the wrong person to drive by and record it, and I'd have been out anyway. But yeah, so that's out anyway. That's not going to happen. So I don't know at this point what I'm going to do. I'll have to look into some things. That's all. Anyway, I can't respond to the message because Facebook won't let me respond to messages right now. I am going into Perf today to pay my repair bill. I'm going to actually pay the balance of it today. It's like $86 that's left on, so I'll pay that. And once I pay that, yeah, then I don't know. We shall have to see. We shall have to see. But I'll go in and pay my repair bill anyway. We'll see. Perhaps I can talk to her when I meet her, to the property owner where I was going to camp. Possibly I can talk to her. We shall see. And I can reply that way, but I can't reply on Facebook Messenger, at least not until tomorrow. And that's if they don't come up. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll lift your ban. They'll say they're going to lift it on such and such a date, but then they'll find a reason to extend it. So who knows? Maybe they'll find more kitty porn that I posted or something. I don't know. Who the heck knows? Anyway, um, it's just crazy. The post that they're condemning me for, that they're calling kitty porn, was actually a post that I reshared from Facebook. It was already on there. So it's actually something of theirs that I reshared. So anyway, that doesn't matter, I guess. In this day and age, you are guilty. If anybody in authority says you're guilty for something, then you're guilty, and that's it. We don't have rights. Okay. So anyway, I'll let y'all know what I find out and what I figure out and what's going to happen. I'm not entirely certain right now. Yeah, I just don't know. Like I say, that camp spot probably wouldn't have lasted long anyway, because somebody would have reported it. There's always people especially these days. There's a lot of people who just can't wait to report you to the authorities for one reason or another, and I don't know why. It's just this rat mentality that we have these days. But yeah, somebody would have reported it sooner or later. I have a lot of enemies in Perth, and it's close to Perth. So at some point, somebody would have driven by, especially if they realized that it was me that was there, and they'd report it. So they would for sure. If they didn't report it, because they dislike reporting things to the authorities, which a lot of people seem to like to do. And in Perth especially, Perth is really the land of the Karens, you know? Perth is just full of those kinds of people. So there is that. And they'd either report it just for the sake of reporting it, or they'd report it because they know me and they don't like me. So it'd be one of the two things anyway. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll have to see what my options are, that's all. My friend that owns the property did present me with an option in her message, which I can't respond to right now. But I need to look into that. I need to make sure that it's affordable. Can I actually pay to be there? That's one thing. And the other thing I would have to look into is, well, not just the affordability of it, but also it's a campground. So, I mean, do they shut it down? Say in October come to me or whatever, be there for September and maybe half of October, and then they say, "Oh, we're closing it up, Tom. You got to move." There's no point to that. So I need to find out: is it affordable, and is it a four-season thing, or do they close it up every October and open it up again every May, which is what usually happens with campgrounds around here, because of course we're living in a northern climate. But possibly not. She said it's an off-grid type of campground, so possibly it is something that's open all year round. It may be. I just don't know. All stuff to look into. All hope is not lost yet. It's a little discouraging. Um, I wish people weren't so frightened of the homeless, but I understand it. The neighbors who complained are from Toronto. They're retired school, or who would complain if I went there. They're from Toronto and they're retired school teachers, and they have money. And of course, in Toronto, in the city of Toronto, the homeless population there is a whole other kettle of fish, just like in most cities. And there are homeless people there who are there because they just fell on hard times, like I did. Not everybody, you can't paint everybody with the same brush, but there are also homeless people there who are quite problematic, who are thieves, panhandlers, and addicts, and some of them are violent, and some of them have serious mental illnesses, and you know, and so some of them can be quite dangerous. And so, of course, the perception of somebody from Toronto, as soon as they hear the word homeless, they think, oh no, you know. they're not wrong as far as the homeless population where they come from is often like that. Like I say, not all of them. I'm not trying to paint everybody with the same brush. But if you come from Toronto or any other big city, then you've probably seen and heard of some awful things involving homeless people. Some, people being hurt by homeless people, all that. Plus, you get them then too, because in the city they do everything they can to mess with the homeless people. The city government does, and so on. And so there are no facilities provided for waste disposal and such and whatnot. And so you get them defecating all over the sidewalks and all over alleyways and everything else. And so you're walking down the sidewalk and you're up to your ankles in some bum's shit, and that's on top of having aggressive panhandlers and, muggers and all sorts of things. People offering to sell you stolen goods, or people looking to rob you, or people offering you sexual services in exchange for a little cash or whatever. And, so that's their perception of the homeless, and it's not entirely inaccurate. It's not entirely inaccurate. Where they come from, there's a lot of that. And so I can't say they're wrong. They're wrong about me. I'm not a thief or my goodness, that was quick. Whatever that was that just went across in front of me and into the long grass there. But I mean, I'm not a thief. I'm not an addict. I'm not violent unless I'm approached violently. Like, I am a man. And if somebody approaches me violently, I will respond with violence. But otherwise, I'm not violent. Um, and they wouldn't have any worries like that. Plus, I know better than to dump all my crap on the ground. Although, just because of the smell alone, I don't want to live in a sewer. But again, they don't know that. Some people don't mind living in a sewer. And a lot of those people are homeless. So, I mean, again, for all they know, maybe I'm a dirty outfit. Maybe they're going to have the smell of my crap wafting over onto their property. As far as the well being contaminated and stuff like that, I can understand their concern in a way, but in another way, I think it's funny because the property owners where I would be, there's a field that right next to the property of the neighbors who are complaining, and that field has horses and cows in it, and the horses and cows are pissing and shitting all over the place in the field. But again, there's a perception that somehow if that gets into your well, it won't hurt your well. But if a human stuff gets in there, it will, um, which isn't true. But it doesn't really get into the well anyway, unless you're doing it right on top of the well. I had a friend years ago. She's no longer a friend because she just disturbed my peace too much. But she had a lifelong dream of having an outhouse. She just wanted to have an outhouse on her property. And so she built this outhouse, and she built it on top of her well. And when I saw what she did, I told her that was a huge mistake because all your shit in your outhouse is going to go down into your well, and you're going to have E. coli contamination in your well, and your water is going to make you sick. I said, you and your kids are going to get sick from drinking the water. Oh no, she said, that's not true. And she's one of these ones, she actually believes that you should actually eat poop and stuff. I told her one time that eating poop is healthy as long as it's actually good for you, as long as the poop you eat comes from a beautiful man who eats a healthy diet. That came out of the asshole of a beautiful man who eats a healthy diet, then that's actually good for you, apparently. Anyway, according to her. And I'm trying to tell her, you're going to get sick. And I asked her, I said, have you ever seen photographs of old homesteads? Going back into the 1800s and whatnot, before they had indoor plumbing. As I said, if you look at the photograph of an old homestead, you'll see they got a cabin. They got a cabin. In front of the cabin, right in the center of the front yard, they have a well pump, like a hand pump, you know, one of these. Up and down there, and the water comes out into your pail. And then, okay, you got your well pump, you got your cabin, and then way at the back of the property, as far away from the cabin as they can practically make it, you got your outhouse. As far away from the well as it can be, that's where your outhouse is. And I told her there's two reasons for that. For one thing, you don't want to be smelling crap around the cabin, because that's unpleasant. Most of us don't like that. She likes the smell of crap and the taste of crap and all the rest of it, but most of us don't. So that's the first thing. You don't want to be smelling the crap, you know, around your living quarters. And the other reason is to get the outhouse as far away from the well as possible to prevent contamination of the well. I said, you never see a photograph of an old farm homestead with the hand pump in the yard and the outhouse sitting beside it. And I said, if that was ever done, the people who living there would have died. They would have got dysentery or cholera or something and died, is what would have happened. And I said, now if you drink your water, that's what's going to happen. You're going to die because you're contaminating your water with E. coli. Anyway, she didn't believe me. A few weeks after she built that monstrosity, we got a heavy rain. And it was a heavy rain to the point where the water, the groundwater, was actually up to the hole in the board, you know, the plank with the hole that you sit on in her outhouse. The groundwater was about an inch from the hole. So the hole that she had dug filled with groundwater. And it had come up right up to about an inch, you know. And anyway, I told her that's all going to drain down and it's going to take your shit with it. And it's going to contaminate your well. Oh no. Well, everybody in the house got sick. And that's what it was. It was from drinking the water that was contaminated from the outhouse. She had to pour bleach down into her well to clear it out. But she would not believe that it was the outhouse that did it. That was just a fluke. It's not the outhouse. And the outhouse still stands there on her property. And the last I was in touch with her, which was a few years back now, she was regularly having to put bleach into her well to clear up contamination, which she would never acknowledge came from the outhouse. Yet prior to the outhouse, she didn't have to do that. Now, every time there's a heavy rain, she's got to put the bleach to her well. And it all started with the outhouse. Well, you see, that's why pioneers didn't build their outhouse on top of their well. And those people weren't stupid, you know. They lived in an era where if you were stupid, you died. They couldn't afford to be stupid. And yeah, anyway, the bottom line is, though, unless you're dumping your crap right on top of the well, there really isn't an issue. But still, I know the perception that people have, and people do have these fears, and in their mind they're legitimate. The fear of the contamination of the well, the fear of the homeless, and so on. And like I say, contamination of the well is a legitimate fear if you're crapping on top of your well. So yeah, there could be something in that if you're actually doing that. And fear of the homeless is also a legitimate thing under certain circumstances. You know, because some homeless people are pretty scary. And that's just a fact. There's no way around that. So like I say, they're not wrong. They're wrong about me, but they don't know me, and they have no reason to trust me. Who am I to them? I think if they let me go there and they got to know me, they'd come to like me. I'd have to prove myself, which I would do, and they'd like me. But they're not going to give me that chance. They're just too fearful, and it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about that. I'm not going to be given a chance to do anything about it. Anyway, my friend who owns the property has said that had been sleepless over it. It's really bothered her, and I feel bad about that. And it's been stressful for me, and it's been stressful for her, and it's probably better that we just don't go down that road again. That's all. It's not going to work out, and I'll just have to figure something else out. I'm a grown man. I'll figure it out. But yeah, um, in the meantime, I just don't know. You know, we'll see. That's all. All right, we'll talk to you later.